Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger and my friends. We continue on in our ongoing character preview series for Street Fighter 6. I was invited by Capcom to come to their offices and have a little bit of a brief look at Street Fighter 6. I had some hands-on time with some of the characters, and my mission here to bring you some coverage of the characters, especially ones that don't get as much love as some of the other more popular characters. Today we're going to talk about E.honda in Street Fighter 6. Now, as with the other videos, which you can find linked in the video description if you want to check out the other videos, this is a preview, not a full guide. I had limited time with the character, not too long, so I'm just here to give you an idea of what the character is about and what they can do. This video will also be very slightly different than the rest, as you're going to find more theory crafting in this video than the other ones. Why? Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. When I got into the offices, I got to play the game, Honda was the first character I checked. The very first character. And over the course of my original playing, I gotta say I was heartbroken originally. I left there feeling very down about Honda. Now, with the benefit of reviewing my own footage, and thank God I turned on the frame data, I have now reversed my decision. I am now very excited about Honda. So let's talk about it. So why was I sad originally? Well, a big part of it has to do with the 100-hand slap. So you probably know at this point, 100-hand slap is no longer a mash motion. It is a regular special move. You can just, quarter circle back, punch, you get 100-hand slap, no mash needed. Now I like the mash. The reason I played Street Fighter 2 back in 1991, because I could pick E.honda and mash the buttons and get a special move. When I was a kid, I couldn't do special moves. It was too hard for me. I stuck with the game because I could pick the funny sumo man with the punches, mash punch button, and get a special move. That's the reason I stuck with Street Fighter, and the reason basically I'm in fighting games today. So it meant a lot to me. So there's that, and then there's the reason that 100-hand slap is not as good. Moves are balanced around their motions. It's the reason why a Sonic Boom is better than Hadouken, because it's charge, right? And 100-hand slap was good because it was mash. So 100-hand slap was like, not every version in every game, but for the most part, you would always find at least one version of 100-hand slap that was plus on block. There is no version of 100-hand slap in this game. EX, with the buff, whatever, there is no version of 100-hand slap in this game that is plus on block. And when I saw this and realized this, it was like my heart was ripped out of my chest. I'm like, they killed Honda. Like, the game plan is gone. The whole reason for being for the character is gone. That is how bad I felt about it. And my rest of my playtime with him, I was sort of just like, whatever, who cares? Honda sucks now, right? Now, thankfully, after the fact, I had my realizations. But yes, 100-hand slap is not the move it used to be. However, other moves have come to prominence for Honda, as we'll go into. But that said, about 100-hand slap, let's just talk about it here. Let's finish this train of thought here. What is 100-hand slaps for now, if not plus frames on block? Well, one, very easy hit confirms. Light slaps combos from everything, right? And heavier slaps combo from heavier buttons. So if you're just going for basic hit confirm combos, all that kind of stuff, you just go into slaps. It's easy. It's not a big deal. You don't need to worry about your piano or, your slides or whatever. Just quarter circle back punch. So very easy combo fodder at the bare minimum. And not only combo fodder, but also combo extensions. Honda's Street Fighter V V Skill 2 is a base move in this game. It's simply down, down, kick, and then your next 100-hand slap is turbocharged. So, just in case you don't know how this works, normally his non-EX 100-hand slaps, light, medium, or heavy, they're always plus. They're plus 2 on hit, so you have slight advantage. But when you gain the Mandate of Heaven, as it were, your light, medium, or heavy 100-hand slaps now have the additional animation, and now it is plus 4. And since it's plus 4, wouldn't you know it, he has a couple 4-frame moves, which is great, which means you can use them and keep attacking and keep comboing after the initial 100-hand slap. So now any basic hit into 100-hand slap can become a full extended combo and can keep going. Just add the extra jab after the fact, then go into a 100-hand slap or go into a headbutt or go into whatever. So that's good. Part of the base moveset now. And if you take it to its logical conclusion, as much meter or as much resources as you're willing to put into it, then you'll get exactly that much out of it. So basic hit, enhanced hands, link in the jab, keep comboing, level 3 super, and then all of a sudden, hey, you lost half your life. So that's all well and good. And the other thing about hands is they actually, I think, want you to use it raw now. Just use it by itself, which when it was a mash was never really an option before. Why? Well, because 100 hand slaps has a lot of hits. So by necessity, it kind of automatically breaks drive impacts if people go for it. So it's a good way to check that while you're going for your pokes, and his pokes are really good, and we'll talk about that later in the video. But yeah, so that's one thing. And also, frame data wise, and we'll get into the weeds on frame data later in the video too, if you counter hit a drive impact with hands, it's +4, and then you can link into it and get more combos. Good stuff. Now, that all said, let's get into the good stuff that reinvigorated me on Honda. One, he still has his really fun animations where he'll just start slapping everything or making wild gesticulations when he does his moves. But let's talk the Sumo Headbutt, the humble Sumo Headbutt. This is the move that changed the most, and this is the defining move now of Honda in Street Fighter 6. It is not underhand slap anymore. This is the defining move. Like, it still does basic combo stuff, all the stuff you would expect, but what it is now on block is what matters. So the big thing out of the gate is what headbutts are on block. So normally, say you could do jab headbutt to be safe, that was about it, and medium or heavy, if you got blocked, it was the end of the day, right? No, not anymore. All headbutts are -4 on block. Yes, even heavy headbutt, the one that goes full screen, that is -4 on block. And to put it out there, it's -4 on block with so much additional pushback on block, it might as well be 0. That might as well be a full neutral reset as far as I'm concerned. In Street Fighter V, heavy headbutt is -12 on block. In Street Fighter 4, it is -16 on block. In Street Fighter 6, it's -4 on block. This means you can spam this move till the cows come home, very little consequence. Well then, rooflemonger, I think I'll drive impact it if I see it. Well, are you willing to bet your life on that? The recovery is very quick, so if you're just going by reaction, unless you're extra fast, I don't know if that's going to work out for you. So we're in a golden age of headbutt spam, basically. It's effectively safe on block. The heavier versions have even more pushback with -4. Like, there's no 4-frame normal that reaches that far. There just isn't, right? That's great. And that's not all. There's another hidden little detail. So here is a bigger version of Jamie's drive gauge. Look what happens on block. Light headbutt does about 80% of a drive gauge. What about medium headbutt? Oh, about 80% of a drive gauge. What about heavy headbutt? Oh, a full drive gauge. So not only is Honda allowed to effectively freely spam headbutts in a way he's never really been before in Street Fighter, especially from full screen, they all do wicked drive gauge damage. Honda can easily force you into Burnout. Very, very easily, in my opinion, thanks to this. Now, it's hardly the only move we've seen do high guard gauge damage. Like, Marissa charged heavy punches, they do a lot of drive gauge damage. However, they're very slow and very telegraphed, much slower than a Sumo Headbutt. Blanca's heavy Blanca Ball also does a full guard gauge of damage, however, it leaves him literally full screen when he's done with it, no pressure. Honda though, it's fast startup and he's right beside you. Sure, a little negative, but especially on the heavy with the pushback, it really doesn't matter. And if you're so inclined to hit buttons right after the fact, keep in mind EX Headbutt is armored, by the way, so he can punish you right away for that. It's a new era of ignorance, and I'm here for it. So once I figured all this out, this is where I started getting really happy with Honda again. It's not that we spam hands anymore, we spam headbutts now. And you can't block too many headbutts, or else you're going to get into Burnout state very quick. And I think Honda, as we'll talk about a little bit later, is extra good when the opponent is in the Burnout state. I think he's tailor-made for it even. Okay, so I know we just burned a lot of time on 2 subjects, so I'm sorry about that, but it is important to me. So hopefully you understand the direction Honda's going now in Street Fighter 6. Now, this direction's pretty fun, by the way. Butt slam. So 1, butt slams do a lot of guard damage, about 90% of a drive gauge if you block it. Oh, and by the way, it's plus on block now. Once again, light, medium, heavy butt slams are plus on block now. That's a pretty big development. So if you block this and you both press a button, Honda's gonna win. And hey, keeping with the Burnout theory craft, right? If you block this, well, Honda's gonna win anyways. I'll just block, and then he goes jab, heavy headbutt. You basically just lost 2 bars of drive gauge right out of the gate. Butt slam is many Honda players' favorite moves, and many people who don't like Honda, it's their least favorite move, and it's seemingly about the best it's ever been here, so watch out for butt slams. Far as I can tell, it can still cross up, which is great. If you want to say parry it, it's still plus unless you perfect parry it, so that still works out. And you know what? Honestly though, that's a good idea, because if you parry, then it removes the left-right mix-up. So you probably should try to parry every butt slam. Even if you don't get the perfect parry, at least you remove the mix-up component of it, right? He might be +1, but whatever. It's better than getting crossed up by his ass. So there you go. Now also, what about drive impact? Well, from footage we've seen before, it makes you kind of whiff and go the other way, and then he gets the guaranteed punish on you. So I would probably recommend parry over drive impact. And EX butt slam, FYI, starts up in 6 frames now, which makes it the fastest this move has ever started up ever since he got EX moves in Street Fighter 4. So pretty big buff. Butt slam is doing pretty alright for itself. Let's put it that way. Now, let's just talk some normals here. Here's a good idea of what his normals look like. One thing to note out of the gate, stand heavy punch. Seems to be pretty good in my opinion. Has 7 active frames, and in my testing, of which I don't have footage of this, I'm sorry, but it seems to be still a good 1-button anti-air. So if you don't like to worry about like shoryukens or whatever, you can just snipe them out of the air with stand heavy punch. Stand medium punch, which has good range, is also plus on block. Once again, I mentioned this in every video, but plus on block frames for the most part are very rare now in Street Fighter 6. So having anything plus on block is actually a true blessing. But for the most part, except for one particular standout, which we're going to go into, his normals are his normals. Like, they're usually pretty good. Honda has good normals, but they're not revolutionary or anything compared to how they were, say, in Street Fighter 5. Command normals, target normals, he still has light punch, medium punch, that is special cancelable. He still has stomp, which is an overhead. The big standout to me is forward heavy kick. So this is a very long-reaching command normal he has. Like, the range is actually significant, as you can see here, right? So the poke button, it's a great poke button. One thing here, because you see it's blocking, it's -5. So it's less negative than it was in Street Fighter 5, where it was -7. So that's really handy. And also, take a look how Jamie's blocking. When he blocks, he has to crouch, because it's a low again. In Street Fighter 5, this move, which used to be just stand heavy kick in some other games, was changed just to mid, right? So in this game, it's a true actual low. So in terms of neutral, and the fact that it's a very quick long-range button for what it is, this is a godsend. This means you're going to catch a lot of people with this move, guaranteed. You are going to be sniping people's toes all the time. So just actually fantastic. Huge buff to the move. And also, if it hits as a punish counter, there's no crush counters anymore like Street Fighter 5, so no mini combo or anything, but it does provide a knockdown, which gives you either guaranteed pressure or a guaranteed 100 hand slap buff. Pick and choose. So all in all, this move is going to be a major workhorse. And now just to talk about some of the other moves. So clap is back. This was a V skill in Street Fighter 5. It is now just baked into his core moveset. It's just down, down, punch. Yes, it still destroys projectiles. And I very unfortunately don't have footage of this, but the radius it can destroy projectiles from is actually wild. It's way bigger than the actual animation. Very sorry I don't have the footage for it. You're gonna have to take my word for it, but yeah. It destroys the fireballs from way beyond the range of the actual clap itself. And yes, Honda can destroy a projectile and still hit the person behind it as well. So the hitbox is quite good. Now, for certain projectiles, it's probably going to suck, like DJ. Like, if you destroy the first projectile, the second one's still going to hit you in the face. So that matchup just might actually be kind of bad, I don't know. But yeah, it's baked into the core moveset. There's not many anti-projectile moves in the game, honestly, especially compared to Street Fighter 5. So he's very, very lucky to have it for sure. Also, the new stance move he has where he kind of shuffles forward. So he has 2 options from it, either punches or a launcher. The punches are actually safe on block. They're -3 with a decent amount of pushback as well. So you can just do it, and if you get blocked, no big deal. It has a third hit that is not safe on block, but you can interrupt people trying to hit you back, so I guess that's part of the guessing game. So it's a cheap way to advance forward and be completely safe. So pretty handy. Like, you don't got to commit to a headbutt with charge or anything. You can just go forward and attack and not worry about it too much if you get blocked. And once again, the other option is the launcher. And the launcher, well, launches. You get a combo if it connects. So easy for combos and all that. Just, it's very not safe on block. So don't commit on block. Now, this is a rooflemonger video, so this is the part where we start talking about command grabs. Honda has been exceptionally blessed in this game. Wildly so, even. Why? He's certainly not a better grappler than Zangief, Lily, or Manon. He's not. He's not meant to be either. He's not a primary grappler. But what has changed is the damage values. He does so much more damage across the board now than he has ever done in Street Fighter 4 or 5. So, for direct comparison, Street Fighter 4 light grab does 160, the medium grab will do 170, the heavy grab will do 180, and the EX grab, well, it does 190, right? Incremental. Street Fighter 5, light grab does 140, the medium grab will do 160, his heavy grab will do 180, and his EX grab will do 200. So a bit more than Street Fighter 4 overall, right? Now in Street Fighter 6, the light grab alone does 2000. So this does as much damage as the EX version did in Street Fighter 5 effectively when you compare the damage values. And it's only upside from here. It only does more and more damage. So the threat of the grab in this game compared to the other games for Honda is wildly more. And unlike the actual grapplers, Honda gets a significant damage boost for doing the EX. It does 2800. So that puts him in the territory of like Lily's command grabs. So it's actually quite worth it for him to burn the bar. All of his grabs are 7-frame startup, so a little bit slower than what Zangief, Lily, and Manon could do. But still, considering he's not meant to be a primary grappler, it's a very, very good grab and way better than what he's had before in other games. Now, just to quickly talk on his supers, his level 1 is Strike Invincible. It's full Invincible frame 1 and Strike Invincible for the rest of the frames. Starts up in 7 frames, very fast for what it is. Since he doesn't have like, a Shoryuken, a traditional reversal, if you're willing to burn one of your super bars, this is basically the good get off me button. And very literally, because he just absolutely flings you across the screen, right? This is the ring out move, if there ever was one. And his level 2 super is probably his most actually valuable super. Level 3 is good for combos, big damage, all that usual stuff, right? But this gives him utility, which he doesn't have too much of. So this is full invincible, not just projectile invincible. This is a full invincible startup. Very, very fast. This is his gotcha move. Like if I catched you whiffing something, or if I caught you throwing a fireball or whatever, he travels across the screen at a lightning pace, all things said. So for Honda, it probably might be worth it just to save your meter, either for the level 1 so we can have a proper reversal, or for the level 2 for big gotcha moments, because it also does pretty decent damage all told as well, right? Just something to keep in mind, basically. Okay, so we're finally starting to come to the end of the video. This one's a bit longer than the other character previews because I was so just disheartened at first. And now I have a complete 180 on my opinion, so please indulge me while I just share and just going crazy about talking about Honda. Now, the last thing to talk about here is the potentials of Burnout state form. So we talked about between headbutt and butt stomp, all that kind of stuff, he's going to drain your drive gauge like it's not even there, right? So it should be easy for him to inflict the Burnout state, and this is where some of the numbers start really mattering. Like, say, the sumo stance move. We went over this earlier, right? So this is -3 on block, and it's safe. That's great. But in Burnout, because Burnout gives you more frame advantage, this would now turn into +1 on block instead of -3 on block, which means he has an advancing plus move, and now he's just in your face. Something to think about. In Burnout, light 100 hand slap, would now be 0 on block and deal hopefully a good amount of chip damage instead of -4 on block, and much more importantly, EX hands, which is -3 on block, would become +1 on block. So if they're burned out, you could go like jab, EX hands, plus on block, jab, EX hands, plus on block, jab, EX hands, and deal Lord knows how much chip damage, and then say end in the super, and that could be like 15-20% chip right there if they're in Burnout. Since I feel like Honda is more likely to inflict Burnout than the average character, the frames start making a lot more sense on a lot of the moves. Who knows for sure, but just food for thought, food for thought. So with Honda, I went from being super bummed out while I was at Capcom directly, to going home feeling sad about the character, then rewatching my own footage that you're seeing here, looking at some of the frames, all that, and like realizing, oh wait, This isn't what I thought he was at first blush. And now I'm excited for Honda. Honda looks stupid and ignorant. And that's why you play Honda. You're not playing Honda because you want to be respected as a high-skilled player. No one plays Honda for that. You play Honda so people can badmouth you behind your back because they hate you and they hate Honda. And now that I realize what the game plan is now in Street Fighter 6, which is different from 4 and 5, now I'm very excited how it's all going to turn out. Potentially a new era of ignorance will be ushered in with Honda. So friends, look forward to those full screen rando HP headbutts, because not only are we going to be spamming them, we're going to get rewarded for spamming them. That's actually optimal gameplay, it turns out. The headbutt is the wave of the future. And my friends, that's it for me. So one more preview to go. We're going to talk about Marissa. Until then, we're at the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.
Yeah.